So, when is the right time to move out of your parents' house? How do you know when it is time? Is it something that you should start considering now? Or should you wait a few more months and start considering it in the future? So, I find that I've been asking myself all these questions and more a lot lately. And if you're watching this, I want to believe you're asking similar questions or you're actively considering taking the leap and moving out of your parents' house. So, in this video, we're going to be having a chit chat or moving out of your parents' house. Is this something that you should even consider doing? When do you know you're ready? How do you go about it? The pros, the cons, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you're interested in this conversation, you want to stick around and watch this video. Hello and welcome to another episode of Chit Chat with Intrua, where we have real, raw conversations about real life situations. My name is Intrua. If it's the first time you are seeing this face, and if you are returning, what's up, my G? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the elephant in the room, which is moving out of your parents' house. What age is the right age? Should you be thinking about it? Is it bad that you're thinking about it? How do you go about it? And before we get started, I would have to say that this is a dilemma that I am currently in the middle of. I have been thinking about it for some time, and I just thought that it'd be great to also have this conversation, talk about what my thought process has been on this particular topic. What are the things I think you should be considering, and maybe get some feedback if you're also actively thinking about it. How are you going about it? Looking at the pros and the cons is something that we should be doing, or should we just kick that thought out of our head? And if you're going ahead to make the move, when do we know when it is finally time for us to take the leap? So yeah, that's what this video is primarily about. And as always, pay attention to what I'm saying as opposed to what is going on with my face. Alright, so like I said earlier, this is something that I have actively been thinking about for some months actually. Should I move out? Am I ready? How do I go about it? And stuff like that. And one of the things that has been constantly ringing in my head is, why do you want to move? What is your reason for wanting to move out of your parents' house? And I think that is something that we should all think about. I think that is a question that a good number of us should be able to answer. Are you moving out because you crave some privacy? Or do you still have a curfew that you're sick and tired of? Is your commute time to work from home a little too long and you feel like it's wasting your time? Is your relationship with your parents getting way too toxic and you feel like you need to get out to protect your mental health and all of that? And I think that all of us should have a good reason to move. Not to say that you should have a specific good reason to move out. I mean, someone may just want to move out because they think they're of age and they think it's time to take the leap. But the reason I think you should be thinking about why you want to move out is so that you're sure that you're moving out for the right reason, right? Is to make sure that you're not trying to move out because everybody on Instagram or on YouTube is having a room tour, everybody your age has moved out and stuff like that, and you feel that it is time for you to move out. I mean, one of the reasons I have been thinking about it is because of the commute time. Like, it takes so long for me to get to work, and I feel like I have so many things I need to do, and sitting in traffic for 4 hours, 3 hours a day is not the best use of my time. So that is one of the reasons I've been thinking about taking that leap and moving out. So what is your reason? Then I also find that even though your reason for wanting to move out is important, I'll be the first to say that it's not the most important thing when it comes to moving out of your parents' house. Like, there's so many other factors that play a role, and just speaking to people that have done it just makes you realize that deciding to move is one thing, but taking the leap and doing it is something else. Imagine having a good reason to move out and finally moving out and then realizing that you do not have enough money to pay your rent, pay the bills, take care of yourself, buy food, and still live a sane life outside of your parents' house. I can't even begin to imagine what that would be like. So yeah, there are so many factors that play a role, and that is really why I think we should be having this discussion, right? And I'm not going to sit here and act like I've had it figured out, but what I can do is share some of the questions that I have been thinking about, questions that I think are worth considering, so that you can also think about it and answer them for yourself. Because me, I don't have all the answers to these questions. But I think that if you do have these answers, it's going to help you know when to know you are ready, right? So the very first question is, can you afford to move out based on your current earning, based on the state you are in right now? What areas can you afford to move into, and are you happy moving into the areas that your money will be enough for? You know, if you have like 500 cedis and it's affording some, not so great place, is it something that you're willing to do, or would you just sit at home and wait till you have enough money to get a place that is more posh for the baby girl or the baby boy that you are? Another question to think about. Alright, so another question that you may also want to consider is, aside rent, will you be able to afford your utility bills like electricity, water, your internet, for example? What else? All those other small bills that come with living alone, like groceries and all those other things. Is it something that you'll be able to afford based on your current income or the current stage that you're in? And talking about that, would you need to get another job or another source of income to be able to maintain the kind of life that you're having right now? Because we know that, our parents always try to give us the best. So moving out of what is being given to you, will you be able to sustain that kind of lifestyle for yourself on your own? And if you need to get, another job or another source of income on the side, how feasible is it? Is it something that you're able to do right now? Or, do you have to humble yourself and wait until you have that figured out? And the other day, I was, on my bed and I was thinking about it. And I was just thinking about the fact that if there's something as little as a wall gecko in the house, like, I'm leaving. If my brothers or my parents are not there to kick it out, we are not doing it again. So imagine moving out and then having a wall gecko come into a house. Like, those things are so small. They may seem so small, but they are literally things that will make a lot of difference if you know how to, deal with stuff like that. If you can deal with a rat in your apartment, sure, go ahead and move out. When you move out, you're going to be fully responsible for all these things. So is this something that you're willing to do? So these are the questions that I've been thinking about, and these are some of the questions that I think you should also be thinking about if you're trying to find out if it is the right time to move. If you don't have like a solid yes or a solid response to these questions, maybe you should, relax a bit, give it a few more months before you come back, revisit these questions and take the leap. So yeah, another thing that I think you should be actively considering, especially if you have strict parents or generally African parents, is, have you discussed it with them? Is it something that you're comfortable with? Because I know that some parents will push back real bad. Like, there's some parents that don't want you to move out, especially if you're a woman, because they believe that you have to, get married, have a man take you out of their house. So if your parents are not in agreement, or if your parents are actively pushing back on you moving out, that may be a huge problem. Even when you have your finances sorted and all of that, it may bring a whole lot of conflict in the family. Is it something that you want to confront? These are all things that you should be considering, right? I think that if you're from an African home, you don't just get up and go. No, don't do that here. Alright, so now, considering the fact that this is like a major life decision, what are some of the pros and the cons? Of course, we are going to be starting with the pros. And the very first pro when it comes to moving out, or the very first good thing that comes with moving out, is that you're more self-dependent. Just give you enough life skills to do life on your own, and I think that's a very good thing. I feel like when you eventually move out of your parents' house, that is when you experience proper adulting. Like, sitting in a room in your parents' house and tweeting, adulting is hard, is small. Is small as compared to when you move out and you experience every single thing from left to right, like a messed up bulb, or bad water, or electricity problems that you have to deal with, that you're not going to go out and come back and somebody has solved. Second pro is that you would have your privacy. I think that's one thing that a lot of people crave. For the most part, people don't feel like they have their privacy. Like, you have people walking in and out of your room, you have people, you know, asking you questions about stuff you're doing or where you've been, or, you know, you just have to answer to someone. And I think that after a certain age, we feel like, you know, we don't want to do that anymore. We feel like we are old enough and shouldn't be answering all those questions. You feel like your mom or your dad shouldn't be able to have access to your room whenever they want because, you know, you're an adult. So another good thing that will come from moving out is that now you have your own space, you have your privacy, you have space to do the things that you want. Hopefully they are not bad things that will embarrass you and your family. Now we move to the cons, and this one I've probably said a couple of times. First con is that you are paying for every single thing yourself. If something happens to, you know, your fridge or your gas stove, or if anything goes bad in the house, you're responsible for it. So that is number one. Every single money will come from your pocket. Every single money. Well, unless you have someone who is paying for that. The second con is that it can be overwhelming, and this is something that people that have moved out have mentioned to me a couple of times. Like, you go from, you know, having someone take care of everything to doing everything all by yourself. And I think for the first few months they say that it can be very overwhelming because of how sharp that transition is. That's actually one of the reasons why I would like to move out. Like, I don't entirely agree with, you know, living with your parents, having them take care of every single thing, and then moving out and getting married, and all of a sudden you moved from other people being responsible for running the house to now you moving into your own house and running it. Like, I feel like it's such a sharp transition that may take a toll on people. I don't know because I haven't done it, but when I think about it, I just see that it's going to be a lot, you know. So I'm just going to say that there's really no right age to move out. You know, some people say you move out at 16, 18. Where, my humble opinion, there is no right time. There is a right time, really. There is no right age. It doesn't have to be at 22, 35. I feel like if you are not ready, then you do it because you think that, well, there is a right age, but you've not like prepared yourself and made it possible to, you know, transition seamlessly. You go running back home just like the prodigal child. Another thing that I think we should all come to terms with is the fact that honestly not everybody is meant to move out. Like, the fact that everybody is moving out doesn't mean that you should do it. So yeah, if you're watching this video and it sort of dawns on you that maybe, you know, you're not one of those people that is cut out to, you know, make the move. Maybe you're not one of those people that is in the right place to move out. It's fine. If you're not new to this channel, you know that we take our savings, our investments, our personal finance very seriously. So you're not going to move out and, you know, let that aspect of our life suffer, because that is also equally important. So if you're interested in personal finance tips, you're interested in figuring out your personal finance, investing, side hustles and stuff like that, you want to subscribe to this channel, because I share personal finance tips every other Tuesday right here on the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you want to hit the subscribe button and expect a new personal finance video next Tuesday. Or if you haven't checked out the previous ones that I have put up, definitely want to tap the link up here. I'm going to link the playlist. So yeah, all I'm saying is the moving out thing may not be for everybody. Pick and choose your battle. Don't rush. Don't let the internet rush you. Don't let these room tour, room decor videos rush you. Okay? So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the topic. Let me know if this video has, you know, brought something into perspective for you. It definitely has for me, just, you know, sitting down and talking about it. And luckily for me, I have people that I can talk to about these things, like people that have made the move and they have been able to share all the experiences with me. And so I would say that, you know, even though I haven't done it, I know that it is like a huge life change, and so you don't just want to get up and do it. I think that's definitely something that I want to put across. Let me know in the comment section if I left something else. Like, what are some of the things that you have been thinking about? If you have made the move, what is one of the things that you wish somebody told you before you moved out of your parents' house? What's something that you would tell the next person that is trying to move out? So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to know what you think if you have had the experience. In the previous chit chat with Intua episode, we talked about confidence, how to actually build your confidence, from tips from someone who has struggled with a little bit of low self-esteem, who has been shy for most part of her life and who is doing this now. So I share some of those tips, things that you can do to help you be more confident, build more relationships, your network, and just become like your true self wherever you find yourself. So if you want to check that out, you may want to tap the link up here. I also leave the videos right here. And in the previous one, we talked about putting yourself first, especially when it comes to family, how you're putting everybody first and is being detrimental to you. So that's what happened on the past 2 episodes of Chit Chat with Intro. I'm going to leave them right here so you can check them out if you want to. Definitely check the description box for all the links, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you've watched up until this point, I want to believe that you enjoyed the video, so give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see this face again, and I will see you in one of these videos. Peace out.